Welcome to Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and with me today is the Cal State San Marcos catcher, Andrew Garcia. Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Just hanging in there with everything going on right now. And, just trying to enjoy it as much as I can day to day.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, Andrew. Can't wait to get started with you. But before we get down to the business, I just want to say thank you so much to all the healthcare workers that are sacrificing their lives day in and day out, along with the law enforcement that are risking their lives as well, really trying to protect us, trying to keep us healthy, and trying to keep us safe every single day throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. So now, let's get started where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Andrew, I just want to say congratulations to not only yourself for graduating, for this being your senior year, and along with your younger brother, Kenny, on the commitment from Mount San Antonio and now Mount Sac, and now coming over to Cal State San Marcos, and he's now going to be a Cougar just like you.
Thank you very much. That was pretty special that, he was able to commit to San Marcos, considering, I played my college baseball there and, possibly one more year in the future, and that'd be nice to play with him. But, we'll see as far as that happens. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts.
So now let's talk about how this season, unfortunately it was cut short, only 22 games played, and you were fortunate enough to take advantage of all 22 games. Andrew, you led in almost every offensive category for the team. You're talking about doubles, home runs, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. I believe you were second in hits with 26, right behind your very good teammate, Joseph Bana. Tell us about the successes this year and how you've been a very consistent hitter.
It's a lot of hard work. I really had a lot of help from one of my coaches last year, Scott DeYoung. And, he kind of, even though he wasn't coaching at San Marcos this year, he helped me out, pretty much a couple nights a week. And, just a lot of hard work. Growing up, my parents were, really tough on me in baseball and school. And my dad's always, helped me out. And, I try to just, slow it down when I'm at the plate and, try to, win the battle every single pitch. And that's something that, I've always kind of thought about. And, that's pretty much, just try to be as competitive as I can in the box.
Not only were you really good in the box, but you were good right behind the plate. You caught 3 runners stealing right there. So what was your key to being really consistent, being behind the box, really being a wall, just being a great catcher as well, since you're jumping from the designated hitter role and as a catcher?
As far as being a catcher, I, when I was younger, I never, really thought I would catch. But, one day I wanted to try it out, and I actually liked it. And catching obviously is one of the tougher positions, and I really just kind of I think what helped me is I just have really good instincts and quick reaction to certain things, and especially in baseball behind the plate, and that's something that obviously has really helped me. And, a lot of the work that, we put in at school with the catchers, and, Coach Hudding was a really good catcher at Long Beach State. And, he really helped me with my throwing and my blocking, and just like from the mental side of catching, as far as calling pitches and stuff. I've been fortunate to play with some really good players throughout my life. And, I've learned a lot through summer ball. I was playing in the Northwoods League, and I played in the West Coast League, the Expedition League, and, I got to meet a lot of the, really good players around the country, and, I could say that's kind of helped me out as far as, like, from a catching standpoint. And that's been really important, obviously, for me.
Well, you've had some really good mentors alongside with you, a lot of very good coaching, and it's come a long way for you, Andrew. Now, let's talk a little bit about the team. You were one of the only upperclassmen for the team this year, and it was the Fountain of Youth was definitely on your guys' side with a lot of young faces and a very young team. Now, how would you lead the team an example? I mean, you were like the team captain to these young freshmen coming in. How did you lead them and really get them from when they barely came into the program to when the start of the season and it was down for the nitty gritty?
Well, I mean, going back to last year, it was a lot different because, my junior year, we had a lot of older guys. And, I was new to the program, and, I kind of had a different role. And, I was playing really good baseball, but, it was a lot different for me because, I wasn't, in the program for, a couple of years, and those guys older than me. But, this past year, Coach kind of told me, obviously, that, we're bringing in a bunch of younger guys, and, he really needed me to, show an example for the kids. And, this season actually was, the most enjoyable for me because, I like the role of, trying to help the younger guys and that kind of show them the way. And, obviously it was tough at times because there was a lot of things that, there was a lot of things on the field and in practice that, since I was older, I had already seen those type of things happen. So, I knew how to react, and some of our younger guys, they got a little bit more flustered. And like I said, I thought it was enjoyable for me to help them out and to try to show them, the way, on how to handle, how to handle not having as much success as they did in high school. Because obviously, once you come from high school to college, it's much tougher. And, we had, I think, 14 or 15 freshmen. So, once you get to a college field, it's 21-year-olds versus, 18-year-olds, sometimes 22-year-olds. And, the game just gets tougher. And, one thing I tried to help out the guys is, you have to put in the work. And, every time, you put in the work, you're pretty much just putting money in the bank. And, in the game, you could take out, everything that you did on the side. And, I think we had a lot of talent, and I think in the coming years, San Marcos is going to be, very good. And, that's the thing you get with bringing in young guys is, you might struggle for a year or two. But at the end of the day, a couple of years down the road, they could really be a powerhouse.
No doubt, Andrew. I really think just because you're going to struggle for a year or two trying to teach these youngins how to play the game of baseball in an NCAA level, it does not mean that you can make them into very big and very talented players sometime down the line. Now, I somewhat know the answer to this question, Andrew, but for the viewers that don't know the answer to this one, what is your favorite moment from last year? And I kind of know the answer to it, but I want to hear if it's the one you and I are thinking about.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious to you. My favorite moment from this year was I hit a walk-off home run against Cal State Dominguez Hills. And, it was our first conference game. And, it was a huge game, obviously, because, it got a start in conference. You always want to get off to a good start against the better teams. And, it was really special for me because, I've been playing baseball since I was, 5 or 6 years old. And, I had never hit a walk-off home run. And, that was something that, was really special to me. And it's just something that, I'll never forget. And, it was very exciting, obviously, for my teammates. And it kind of seemed like it was, unreal when it happened. And, it's just something that, you dream about when you're younger. And, and when it's right in front of your face like that, it just doesn't seem, realistic. But, yeah, it was definitely a great moment.
No doubt. That ball just flew out of the park like I haven't seen before that season. So I actually want to ask you a very interesting question now to step a little bit away from the baseball aspect. I wanted to talk a little bit about something I read up about you. So in your bio, it says that you want to study to become a sportscaster or a sports journalist. Now, it's my understanding that now you're starting to drift away from that field of work, and now you want to jump into a new field of work.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I did some stuff with like sports broadcasting, and I did a couple of high school football games at my high school in Laverne, and I've always been really interested in sports broadcasting, and I'm like a really big fan of Vince Scully, obviously, and I'm a Dodger fan, and obviously I like to communicate and talk to others, and I feel like that's something I do pretty well. And then also through my major at school of communication, so I was taking a lot of classes that could put me in that direction. But over the past year and a half or so, I'd say, I was really in between doing that, a police officer or firefighter. And, I think I've kind of come to a decision that I am going to go the fire route. And, I think at the end of the day, I really like to help others. And, from what I was saying earlier, as far as like my teammates, I really like being kind of like the big brother and, helping everybody out that needed it. And, I think the fire route is going to be a good job for me and, a good thing to do in my life.
Now, Andrew, I wanted to also ask you, how come you're starting to make that change from sportscasting now to wanting to become a firefighter?
You said how I was going to make that change?
Yeah, how, or even like why the sudden change?
The reason I really got into it is because my mom has a couple brothers. And, she has 7 brothers, but a couple of them are in law enforcement, and one's a fire captain in L.A. And, I've always been around them, and, I'd say they're like me or I'm like them. And, they seem to really enjoy their job. And, also, too, I have a roommate that, he's in the fire program right now, and he's applied to a couple of different counties and stuff. And, being around him and, helping him study and, helping him with interviews and stuff, I just got really interested. And, we've lived together for a couple of years now. And, I think that's kind of why I made the change. And, I see how, successful my uncles are and, with law enforcement and fire. And, I kind of look like, I hope to be like that one day. And that's something that kind of changed my mind as far as like broadcasting to, fire. And, that's kind of how I changed over.
Well, Andrew, it sounds like family is a big thing to you, and that is a big-time respectable thing there, and that you want to follow your family's footsteps. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about what is next for Andrew Garcia after his graduation with Cal State San Marcos. Don't want to miss the second part, as if when you're on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Andrew Garcia, the catcher for the Cal State San Marcos Cougars, and you're watching Sideline Sports Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome back to Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and again with me is Andrew Garcia, the Cal State San Marcos catcher. As the first half, he was talking a little bit about the season that he was having this year, and just phenomenal bat as far as leading the team in many offensive categories, along with his transition from wanting to become a sports broadcaster to now wanting to become a firefighter in the law enforcement. Now, let's talk about what is coming up next for you, Andrew. Now that you've graduated from Cal State San Marcos, what is the next move?
Actually, I start my EMT class next week, and that'll last for 4 weeks. And, once I'm done with that, I'll be able to take the NREMT. which is the national registry test that gets you EMT certified. And I was obviously going into my senior year, I knew that it was either going to be the end of baseball, or I had a possible chance to hopefully get signed, but I wasn't counting on it too much. But I was kind of just enjoying the ride. But obviously now that they're giving us an extra year back, I have thought about playing another year. But this summer is really going to kind of tell me where I'm at, and I've been communicating with Coach Matt, every week, every couple days, and I haven't completely ruled out playing again next year. And obviously, baseball has been something that's been really important to me, and it's hard for me to walk away after what happened last year, because I don't think anybody wants to walk away from from the game like that. But obviously, like I said, I didn't plan on having another year, so I did, sign up for a couple different things for fire. And, this summer I'm really going to find out kind of where I'm at. And, like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces. The other thing is, at San Marcos, there's not really a master's program that would benefit me, as much as like fire. So I'd really have to, look into maybe getting a minor or, just one of those different type of program. And, the other thing that's kind of like, really wanted me to play, obviously, is, my brother coming to San Marcos. I think that'd be really special to, play with him. And, so, yeah, I mean, I'm not ruling it out yet. But like I said, I am doing a bunch of, fire stuff this summer. And, I'm going to see where it takes me. And, obviously I'll make that final decision a little bit closer to the school year. But, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as, me making a decision as far as playing.
Did you ever imagine yourself playing with your brother? You guys having the same uniforms, looking at the lineup card, seeing two Garcia brothers. Did you ever imagine that?
No, not really. I mean, it would be definitely pretty special. I played with my little brother when I was about, I want to say, 12 years old. He was on my team, and my dad was the coach. And those were some really good days, obviously. And I've always wanted to be somebody my little brother looks up to. And I think if we were to play together, we could really share some special moments. And like I said, I mean, it would be pretty great. But there's a lot of things that factor into it. So we're just gonna take it day by day, and we'll see what happens.
Would you consider going to another school that would potentially offer you anything as far as helping you out to become a firefighter, and maybe even potentially even walking on to another team?
Yeah, that's something that I thought about in the beginning, but it doesn't seem too likely, because I know a bunch of guys that are grad transferring. That's something that I've looked into, but like I said, at the end of the day, I would love to play for San Marcos, and San Marcos is a program that gave me an opportunity, and I would owe it to myself and my teammates and Coach Matt, obviously, to play for San Marcos. So I don't think that I would do something like that. And especially my brother going to San Marcos, that would be something that would be special. But the other thing that kind of factors into this decision is the whole online schooling in the fall. And I don't want to be in a situation where I would go back to get my master's and we weren't practicing, or say for some crazy reason the season was canceled next year. I don't really want to be wasting too much time, because I could be doing my fire stuff, and I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at with that. But yeah, I don't think I would be going to another school. That just doesn't seem like something at the moment that I would want to do.
So Andrew, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a change up right now. Let's see if I leave it hanging for you or I catch you swinging and missing. Where do you see yourself, let's say 5 years from now?
In 5 years from now, I hope to be on the fire department. As far as where that's going to be, I'm not really too sure. It could depend, obviously, on who's hiring at the time and who likes me, what department, and who's going to give me a good setup. And I see myself definitely probably living in California. I think I'll probably be living down in San Diego, hopefully. Because I'm from San Dimas, and I think a lot of my connections out here with fire and the people I met through baseball and stuff. I think I'll be living down here, and like I said, hopefully I can get on the department, and and that's going to be something that it's going to be up to me as far as how hard I'm going to work and what I'm going to do to get there.
Well, Andrew, it sounds like you have yourself a great game plan coming in within these next 5 years. But that's all the time we have left here in this edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. We thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you guys are enjoying guests like Andrew Garcia, and we will have many more like Andrew, make sure to hit the subscription button down below. Even hit that notification bell so you know when we're coming out with episodes. And of course, thank you so much to Andrew Garcia for taking the time out of his busy schedule to come on to this episode.
Of course, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Andrew, we wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and I'd really like to stay updated with that decision that you end up going with, whether you can end up playing with Kenny or if you even end up continuing forward with that fire department.
Sounds good. I'll definitely keep you updated.
And of course, for all of your SoCal news, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. I'll make sure to put all that down in the description below. We'll also put Andrew Garcia's social media below so you guys can stay up to date with what Andrew Garcia has going on while this COVID-19 pandemic is going on. As I'm Alex Nameca, signing off. We'll see you guys next week. And of course, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Have a good one, everybody, and make sure to stay safe.